Up to 85% of your Social Security check is taxable income. That is not a mistake, not a penalty, and not something you did wrong. Congress built this into the tax code in 1983, added a second bracket in 1993, and has never updated either threshold once since then. The income level that triggers maximum Social Security taxation is exactly the same today as it was over 30 years ago, in a world where prices have more than doubled. That means tens of millions of retirees who were never supposed to owe this tax are paying it now, simply because inflation pushed their income above a line that was never designed to move. When the rule was written, fewer than 10% of Social Security recipients were expected to pay any tax on their benefits. Today, the majority of recipients owe some portion of this tax, and most of them find out only when their accountant hands them the bill. Before the end of this video, I will show you 3 specific moves that reduce or eliminate this tax entirely. Most people never take them because most people do not know this tax exists until they file their return and see the damage. Here is how the IRS calculates it. The IRS does not apply a flat tax to your Social Security benefit. They use a formula built around something called provisional income. Provisional income is calculated by taking your adjusted gross income, adding any tax-exempt interest you earned during the year, and then adding 50% of your total Social Security benefit for the year. That combined number determines how much of your Social Security gets added to your taxable income. If your provisional income falls below $25,000 as a single filer, none of your Social Security is taxable. Between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your benefit becomes taxable. Above $34,000, up to 85% of your benefit is included in taxable income. For married couples filing jointly, those thresholds are $32,000 and $44,000. Those numbers have not moved since they were written, not once. In 1983, a retiree earning $34,000 was considered comfortably well off. Today, $34,000 is a modest retirement income in most of the country. The Social Security cost of living adjustments that are supposed to protect your purchasing power are simultaneously pushing more of your benefit into the taxable zone every single year. The adjustment designed to help you is also slowly making this tax worse. Let me show you the exact math, so this is not abstract. Take a single retiree receiving $24,000 in Social Security per year, which is close to the current average benefit. 50% of that is $12,000, which goes straight into the provisional income formula before anything else is counted. Now add $30,000 in IRA withdrawals to cover living expenses, plus $2,000 in interest from a savings account. The total provisional income is $12,000 plus $30,000 plus $2,000, which equals $44,000. That is above the $34,000 threshold. 85% of the full Social Security benefit, which is $20,400, gets added to taxable income. At a 22% federal tax bracket, this retiree owes $4,488 in federal tax on their Social Security alone. That is money most of them did not plan for and did not know was coming. But the calculation catches people in ways they do not expect, because the income sources that count are broader than most people realize. Traditional IRA withdrawals count. Required minimum distributions count. interest from savings accounts and certificates of deposit counts, dividends from taxable investment accounts count, capital gains from selling a home, stocks, or other investments count, pension income counts, even tax-exempt municipal bond interest counts, which shocks almost every retiree who invested in municipal bonds specifically to lower their tax bill. The interest is exempt from regular income tax, but it still gets added to provisional income and can still push your Social Security into the taxable zone. A retiree can have a modest income on paper and still owe thousands in Social Security tax because of where that income is coming from. There is also a hidden effect most people never hear about, called the tax torpedo. As your income rises through the Social Security thresholds, your effective marginal tax rate temporarily spikes well above your normal bracket. At a 22% federal bracket, every additional dollar of income you earn while crossing the 85% threshold is effectively taxed at over 36%, because each new dollar of income makes 85 cents of Social Security taxable on top of it. The money you think you are keeping is being taxed at a rate higher than most people in this country pay. Therefore, you need to understand the three situations that push retirees from zero Social Security tax to the maximum rate. Almost none of them are planned for. The first is taking large IRA withdrawals in the early years of retirement. Many retirees stop working before Social Security begins and pull heavily from traditional IRA accounts to cover living expenses. Every dollar withdrawn from a traditional IRA adds to adjusted gross income, increases provisional income, and can push the Social Security tax rate from 0 to 50% in a single year. Retirees who spread those withdrawals across more years, or who converted some of those funds to Roth before retiring, pay far less. The second is a Roth conversion done too aggressively in 1 year. Converting traditional IRA funds to Roth is one of the best strategies available to retirees, but a large conversion completed in a single year spikes income and can push Social Security tax to the maximum rate for that filing year. The same conversion spread over 4 or 5 years keeps annual income below the threshold each time and avoids the spike entirely. The third is beginning required minimum distributions in the same year Social Security starts. At age 73, the IRS forces you to begin withdrawing from traditional retirement accounts whether you need the money or not. A retiree with $1,200,000 in a traditional IRA faces a required distribution of approximately $45,000 at age 73. If they also begin Social Security that same year, the combination of the required distribution and the 50% Social Security inclusion in provisional income pushes them above the 85% bracket immediately. Retirees who reduce their traditional account balances through earlier Roth conversions have far more control over where they land. But there are 3 moves that reduce or eliminate this tax, and all 3 are available to most retirees before the damage is done. The first is systematic Roth conversions in the years between retirement and age 73. If you retire at 62 and delay Social Security until 67, you have a 5-year window where your taxable income may be the lowest it will ever be in retirement. Converting traditional IRA funds to Roth during those years, carefully staying below the bracket thresholds, permanently reduces your future required distributions, your future taxable income, and your future provisional income. Every dollar that moves to Roth is a dollar that will never count against you in the provisional income calculation again. Done correctly over several years, this strategy can reduce or eliminate Social Security taxation permanently. The second move is qualified charitable distributions. If you are 70 and a half or older, a qualified charitable distribution allows you to send money directly from your IRA to a qualified charity, up to $105,000 per year, without that withdrawal ever appearing as taxable income. Because it never appears as income, it does not add to your adjusted gross income, does not increase your provisional income, and does not push more of your Social Security into the taxable zone. If you plan to give to charity anyway, routing that gift through your IRA account instead of writing a personal check removes it from the calculation entirely. Many retirees who give regularly to their church, a hospital, or a favorite cause are leaving this strategy unused because no one told them it existed. The third move is managing the income you report in the year you first turn on Social Security. That year is the most consequential tax planning year in retirement. The decisions you make about IRA withdrawals, Roth conversions, capital gains timing, and charitable giving in that single calendar year can lock in a Social Security tax pattern that follows you for years afterward. If you have not yet begun Social Security, you still have time to reduce traditional account balances, establish a Roth foundation, and plan the income sources that will be active in year one. If you have already begun Social Security and are paying more tax than expected, qualified charitable distributions and careful withdrawal sequencing in future years can still reduce the ongoing damage. One more thing most people do not check. 38 states currently exempt Social Security income from state income tax entirely, but 12 states do tax it, including Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and several others depending on income level. If you live in one of those states, your combined federal and state Social Security tax bill can be significantly higher than the federal calculation alone. Knowing your state's rules before you choose where to retire is a decision that can save thousands of dollars per year for the rest of your life. If you are within 10 years of retirement, open your last 2 federal tax returns. Add your adjusted gross income to any tax-exempt interest you receive to 50% of any Social Security you already receive. If that combined number approaches $25,000 as a single filer or $32,000 as a married couple, you are already in range of the first threshold. A tax professional who specializes in retirement income can run your provisional income number against the current brackets before your next major financial move. And the cost of that conversation is almost always less than 1 year of Social Security tax you did not have to pay.